Continuing deeper, they encountered structures with a logic somewhat similar to human design. Like tunnels with stairs leading to pits of immeasurable depth. And that would lead to the greatest mystery of the exploration.
Welcome back. Back with another banger. It's the React Files, where we react to the
creepiest, craziest, scariest TikToks. Shouldn't watch alone.
Hope you're having a good night. And if you haven't already, please take a second just to smash that like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, just to make sure the algorithm knows what's up. Cause what we gonna do, y'all? That's right. Run these numbers up. Let's get straight to it.
Are they trying to turn us into zombies? Hollywood did a good job trying to tell us that zombies really look like this, but what if I told you it's something different? By the way, how many people ate those 99-cent Wendy's burgers? You think you was eating burgers, but you was really eating, never mind. But please pay attention to the logo, 99 cent. But once you flip 99 cent around, you get 666. 666. Want people to understand something. Everything you eat and everything you listen to is going inside of your body. And all these solar storms, solar flares, they're going to activate everything that's within your body. Remember, we just had the full moon beaver not too long ago. The beaver lives underground or near water, and we know that the moon actually controls currency. Now we are having these solar flares or a solar storm. Not just any solar storm, but the cannibal solar storm. Why would you name a solar storm cannibal unless you're trying to tell us something? Remember, nothing is new when it comes to the news or the media. Everything happened before. They're calling this solar storm the cannibal solar storm. Once you look at the word Cain and Abel and put it together, you get the word cannibal. These words are spells once again. These fast food restaurants are put in place so you can have parasites or tracking devices inside of your body. They have us so focused and worried about all these UFOs, but they forget that the real aliens is really parasites. By the way, the movie The Matrix tried to tell you without really telling you, because they know we just think it's just a movie. So when they tell us the truth, they can avoid their karma. This is really a parasite. These things really exist. You ever wonder why there are so many roaches and bugs in the ghetto? I mean, I know the ghetto is poor, but why are there always roaches in everybody's house? But if I told you these bugs and insects are really tracking devices, they are tracking star seeds and anyone with kind of spiritual knowledge. Most star seeds are born in poor ghetto environments. They showed this clip in The Matrix with the boy with the spoon. The real question is, why would the Oracle have all these chosen people living in the project? I mean, the Oracle really lived in the projects. Remember this guy from the Oracle? He's blind, but he's not really blind, but he's in the hood. All star seeds are born in poor environment. In every step they take, they are being watched and monitored. They started with using these bugs right here, tracking devices. Now they started putting bugs and tracking devices in all the food we eat. These solar storms was meant to activate our spiritual bodies. These solar storms activate our light body codes. But now that we're eating all kind of crappy foods, the solar storms are going to activate these bugs or tracking devices inside of our bodies. For more info, my ebook, the link is in my bio.
That is one intelligent man. And The Matrix is one of my favorite movies. I would have never connected that. How all the chosen ones were in the ghetto. Even the Oracle. You know, you look at it, but you really don't look at it until someone says it and points it out. Yeah. What y'all think about that? I think it's very interesting.
In the astral realm, and especially in witchcraft, if a witch goes out on the astral plane, astral projecting, and stays too long or something goes wrong, and their silver cord breaks or is cut, and they can't get back into the body, and so they're trying to re-enter the meat sack, right? The body. And they can't get back in. And so they call it bouncing. And she said, Anton bounced. And I said, we were praying to cut his silver cord. She said, well, I came too. And Anton had left her, his spirit man had left her and was trying to get back into his body and wasn't able to. Well, most of that occult realm are seers, and they can see things that are invisible to the rest of us. So the coven, they saw that he wasn't able to get back into his body. So the entire coven gathered around him. He was their black pope, right? And so they began conjuring and calling on Satan, and please help the black pope. Well, now she's laying on a couch watching them across the room, all gathered around him. She just jumped up, ran out the door, ran down the steps, and I was waiting there. And so that was the first news that Anton LaVey had died that night. And well, we went back to our home, and of course, everybody was gathered there in prayer. Lou and Cheryl showed up. DJ told the story. Anton bounced, and he's dead. And so, anyway, we were praising the Lord, and suddenly she had a demonic manifestation that was a top drawer. We'd seen a lot of them, but her eyes went serpentine, went long ways, and turned red. And it was just like, eh. And
wait, like a reptile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this voice spoke out of her to me and said, you murdered the Black Pope. And I said, who are you? And the spirit said, I'm Leviathan, his power spirit. Well, Leviathan, if you've seen pictures of Anton LaVey, you've seen him with a big snake around his neck. But what you don't know is that snake, just like the Harry Potter movies, that snake can transmogrify into different shapes, and because it's actually a spirit being that's very, very powerful, that takes the shape of a snake, but can also possess people and do things like this boy Cody, the power spirit that wrapped around him and told him to deny Christ, right? So anyway, now this power spirit, very powerful spirit called Leviathan. It's arguably one of the most powerful spirits there are, and it's speaking out of her. You murdered the Pope, and so I said, well, you have no right to her. I have a right, a birthright to her. I said, no, that has been broken. It's her father's birthright. I said, she's disowned Anton. I'm her father, and God's her father, and you do not have that right anymore. And we had a little short argument, and I said, Anton has other daughters that worship Lucifer. You have a right to them, but not to this one. This one has been set free. She's a child of God. And that thing left. And we kind of looked around like, wow, we just got high-level demonic confirmation that Anton was dead. And we were praising the Lord and just kind of, pinching ourselves to sort everything out. And all of a sudden, a female voice spoke through DJ and said, I hate you. You killed my father. Well, I knew that Anton had two of the royal family that were probably there, and that was Carla LaVey and Zena LaVey. And so when it was a female voice said, you killed my father, I said, who are you, Carla or Zena? And the voice said, I'm Zena. And I said, okay, Zena, so you know that we have authority from Jesus Christ to cut your silver cord. We just did it to your father because he was out of his body on the prowl on the astral plane. You know we can do it. If you don't get back in your own body, we're going to cut your silver cord. Just like that. She said, don't do that, I'll go. Just like that, she was gone. And we looked at each other and we thought, wow, there's some heavy stuff going down tonight. So we worshiped and sang and praised the Lord, and we sang till the light came up that day, and we just said, everybody keep your eyes on the news channels, and and we're going to hear that Anton died last night, which we did, and of course we have his death certificate and the story that they reported, which is he died of his heart stopped, and they say that it happened the next morning in the Bay Area, but we know what really happened because we were there. And that is the amazing story of the demise of Anton LaVey and the Church of Satan.
Wow. So is the Church of Satan no longer as strong as it used to be? I mean,
Oh,
is
no,
it
it's
still
not.
around?
Well, it's not nearly as strong as it used to be. What happened is the Sergeant at Arms, Michael Aquino, he had left to form the Temple of Set. He took over Anton's place working for the Department of Defense, our government. But in any event, there was a fight between Blanche and Carla over who had the rights to the money associated with the Church of Satan. So there of the royal family was Blanche, and then Carla and Zena. Zena left and later renounced Satanism and the Royal Order of the Werewolves, which she had started with a German guy in New Mexico. She renounced them both, and I've tried to get a hold of Zena. I still pray for her, but I think Zena LaVey saw the power of God for the first time that night, and I think it got her attention because she had formerly said she left the Church of Satan to start the Order of Werewolves because it had greater power.
That was a creepy interview. Just to hear it being spoke like that made it sound like an Exorcist movie or some shit. Like, the whole scene had me confused. But it got real spooky, movie-ish, when they started talking about werewolves. Like, what? This shit just turned into Twilight.
You already know if I'm going to take it?
Wouldn't be much of an oracle if I didn't.
But if you already know, how can I make a choice?
Because you didn't come here to make the choice. You've already made it. You're here to try to understand why you made it.
But why help us?
We're all here to do what we're all here to do. I'm interested in one thing, Neil, the future. And believe me, I know the only way to get there is together. See those birds? At some point, a program was written to govern them. A program was written to watch over the trees and the winds, sunrise and sunset. There are programs running all over the place. The ones doing their job, doing what they were meant to do, are invisible. You never even know they were here. But the other ones, well, you hear about them all the time.
I've never heard of them.
Of course you have. Every time you've heard someone say they saw a ghost or an angel. Every story you've ever heard about vampires, werewolves, or aliens is the system assimilating some program that's doing something they're not supposed to be doing.
I just find it a coincidence he mentions werewolves, like the other videos we were watching earlier.
That you...
Yeah, religious documents, yeah.
Pretty hard to swallow.
It's very hard to swallow.
Saying basically that...
Do y'all remember Bob Lazar? It turned out that he wasn't lying after all, and his stories that he told back in the late 80s and early 90s ended up being true. This is for entertainment purposes only. Lazar talks about religion and the documents he read about humans being created by aliens. Religion is a very touchy topic, and this will upset a lot of people. But that's not the most interesting part. The most interesting part is when he talked about the human species being grown in a lab or genetically engineered. But you, be the judge.
Religion. You saw some other reports that you...
Yeah, religious documents, yeah.
Pretty hard to swallow.
It's very hard to swallow.
Saying basically that... basically that we're a product of genetic engineering from someone.
Yeah. Yeah, how can you just swallow that whole?
Well, how can you swallow any of that stuff?
Well, it's easy to swallow things you can put your hands on and touch and then work with it. That's all. But when you get into a lot of spiritual stuff and religion, and you were brought here, and we were made by progressive corrections and evolution and that sort of thing, and where it shoots down a lot of the established religions, Catholicism, and everything. That essentially it's a tough thing to accept, and why, without hardcore proof, why even bring it up?
I guess the question more should deal with that you actually read a report that said this stuff.
Well, yeah, the only hardcore thing is that there was an extremely classified document dealing with religion about that period. But why would there be any classified material dealing with religion? That's
what other kind of classified?
Holocaust. No, that wasn't the last one.
I want to go back to the religion thing. I want you to say it.
Oh, come on, that's so weird. That's a lot.
I'm not asking you to say what you believe to be a fact. I'm asking you to say what you read in a report that is distributed at what may be the most top secret facility in the world. Okay.
All right, I'll say. It's so far out.
All right, your objection has been noted.
Okay.
What does it say?
That we're containers. That's how supposedly the aliens look at us. That we are nothing but containers.
Containers of?
Containers. Maybe containers of souls. You can come up with whatever theory you want, but we're containers. And that's how we're mentioned in the document. That religion was specifically created, so we have some rules and regulations for the sole purpose of not damaging the containers. The souls.
Meaning,
well, the souls or the bodies or whatever, right?
Meaning like we're containers for souls that they're going to use in some other form.
Right.
And that they had something to do with different prophets and biblical figures.
Yeah. that supposedly Jesus and two other beings were genetically engineered. They were implanted in people on Earth in biblical times, and their births were closely monitored. Now, just some little connections to that my wife had brought up were in the Bible. They said that the star had followed Mary wherever she went, and that all UFO sightings always start out as people, well, gee, that looks like a bright star, and well, in fact, they said in the Bible, the brightest star in the sky followed her where she went, and you just make little connections like that.
I feel like he just wanted some clout. Right? It's so touchy, it's so touchy. Yeah, right. Jesus was created by aliens. Okay. Very far-fetched. Right? That's out the zone for me. What y'all think? Let me know in the comments down below. Hey, if you believe it, it's all good. But for me, way out the zone.
Continuing deeper, they encountered structures with a logic somewhat similar to human design. Like tunnels with stairs leading to pits of immeasurable depth. And that would lead to the greatest mystery of the exploration. Metal doors with seemingly organic seals from which small samples were taken. These proved impossible to open, although no attempt was made by force to avoid any risk. However, a passage was found without such limitations. Inside were objects that, with great terror, resembled the egg found in the excavations in Iraq. In fact, they were so similar that judging by the images, they could have been the same. This couldn't be verified as the exploration team didn't take samples of these.
I don't have a clue as to what that was. That looked like some crazy Resident Evil What, the organism on the passage door? You're taking samples? Yo, that was nuts. I don't know. I want to call Cap.
The user who posted the photos, a former nurse at the hospital, witnessed an abrupt military intervention. All workers and patients were ordered to evacuate to the underground area, and even ongoing surgeries were suspended. The entire building was emptied except for the 6th floor. Rumors quickly spread, pointing to an extreme case of biological risk. Apparently, there had been complications with some inmates who were undergoing emergency surgery in the upper floor operating rooms, and a strange substance was found in their bodies. 4 days later, following the so-called Blossenthal incident, the security tapes of what happened on the 6th floor were recovered.
That's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed tonight's rabbit hole. And if you haven't already, please take a second just to smash that like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, just to make sure the algorithm know what's up. Because what we gonna do, y'all? That's right. Run these numbers up. Thanks again. Until next time.